Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're back here at one of my favorite filming spot locations because guess what? We have that big mamma jamma of luxury and sporty drive in this vehicle right here. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the all-new, first time ever, 2025 Cadillac Escalade IQ. This particular one is a Sport 2. But before we get into this full-size, full-on luxury SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So Cadillac had its early beginnings in the 1900s, the early 1900s, and since then has really built a reputation for itself on premium American luxury. Now, for a very long time, it was all about sedans and regular cars from Cadillac, Eldorado, Barrettes. But you know what? The Escalade really did a lot for the brand when they launched it, and since then, it is still one of those dream vehicles for many people out there. Now, because of General Motors' expansion of electrified vehicles, Cadillac has been at the forefront. It all started with the Lyriq. Then, of course, we have the Vistic, the Optic, and this Escalade IQ. Now, if you're wondering, well, Joe, why do they call it the Escalade IQ and not like Escalade IQ? The reason why is they wanted to keep that Escalade name. They know the value that Escalade name has. And because all the other electrified Cadillacs, the Optic, the Vistic, the Lyriq, because those end in IQ, they decided to call this the Escalade IQ. But what I want to find out is this the must-have SUV of the year when it comes to range, when it comes to performance, and when it comes to luxury? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, I'm loving this color. It's called Dark Cherry Tint Coat, and it fits the name to a T, especially in the Florida sun. At the front of the business, you're gonna see that familiar Cadillac style with the IQ twist. So we have LED, daytime running lamps and turn signals. Love the way the daytime running lamps waterfall down. We have our vertical stack of 10, count them, 10 LED headlights. And then working our way down, you have some body color. And then I like the way on the Sport they give you dark chrome trim. Now, if you're a Cadillac lover that wants the chrome, the bling bling, you can still get the bling bling, just Sport. Everything has a nice dark appearance to it. And of course, a little bit of gloss black. Now, there is this little design here. It's trying to look like a vent a little bit. I'm just gonna give it a half a zonk because I love what they did with the rest of the headlight design. And this design is becoming a signature across the whole Cadillac lineup, including the regular ICE version of the Escalade. Now, as we come across the front, you'll notice that laser etching design. This all illuminates LED, especially into the front trunk area, because this does have a front mounted trunk. You got that iconic Cadillac badge, fully illuminates. Forward facing camera, but I love the way that they did these nice diagonal lines. And like I said, it's all laser etched and it all lights up, that dark chrome finish. Working our way down, full functionality in the middle and full functionality on the bottom, because we do have that lithium ion battery pack, over 200 kilowatts in the belly of this beast. It uses 24 modules of that battery pack. But let me know what you think about the face of this Escalade IQ. I gotta admit, I do like it compared to anything else in that electrified segment. And it has a coefficient drag of just a 0.321. Years ago, a sports car was lucky enough to have a coefficient drag of that number, but you are getting that drag number on a massive Escalade IQ. Now, as we rise up, like I said, we have our front-mounted trunk, which it's the only Cadillac electrified vehicle to have a front-mounted trunk. I think one of my favorite parts is that nice bend that they give it at the front of the hood area to give that nice airflow. You can see all the metal flake in our black cherry tint coat. And then the hood just has a nice shape. You got a bulge. So if you're into the bulges, you get your bulge, and then there's a nice kick up at the back of the hood to get the air up and over the windshield and roof. Now, as we come around the bend, what do we got? Wheel and tire. Check out these wheels, 24 freaking inches of wheel. This is insane to me. Tire size is gonna be a 275 on the width, 50 series sidewall. I like the center cap, how it hides all the lug nuts. And you can see how they design these aero vents to help spin the air down the side of the vehicle with the machined aluminum. Fits the sports style, and it definitely says Cadillac to me. Another thing you're gonna notice, I'm gonna have Lori kind of swing in from the back corner here. You have your adaptive air ride suspension. You could drop this by 2 inches or raise it by 1 inch, depending on what mode you're in. And we have the 4th generation, 4.0 Magna Ride suspension, which, remember, like I try to remind you guys, General Motors is the originator of Magna Ride suspension. Got a motor up front, motor out back, gives us that all-wheel drive. And wait until I tell you about the horsepower and the range. It's gonna surprise you. Everything painted dark cherry. I wanna go get a nice Dr. Pepper right about now because I'm hot as heck, and this dark cherry is reminding me of a nice big old bottle. Gotta drink it out of a bottle of Dr. Pepper. Now coming down the side, I love the way they have the side marker lights, LED of course, with some dark chrome. Another Cadillac badge, you earned it. Power folding mirrors, I do have it in the lock position, so you have power folding mirrors with your 360-degree cameras. Wait until I show you some of the new camera tricks on this Escalade IQ when we get inside. I think one of my favorite parts, no roof rail. Obviously, we're trying to make it more aerodynamic. So no roof rails, it's got a sleek design, the two-tone, the dark cherry with just the black painted roof and A-pillar, not the rear D-pillar, just the A-pillar, and that nice painted roof. You do have a panoramic glass roof, no sunroof, but a panoramic solid glass roof. And then you do have some nice standard size, sleek running boards that are stationary. I'm kind of thinking it would have been nice if they could have figured out how to have the electric dropping ones. That would have just really cleaned up the look. But remember, we do have that battery pack down there, and that could cause some issues with that design. A little bit of dark chrome finish just along the bottom of the door, the outside of the doors. And then you do have your color matched on your door handles with the LED lighting. These are not handles that you pull. You actually push the button on the inside, and that's what opens up the door. Everything is glass. Nothing just regular gloss black. Glass down the side. They take that trim in the black and drop it down, drop it like it's hot, and it's hot right now in the sun. And then you can see how the two-tone, I like the way that they kept this dark cherry. I think that helps give it a very unique look. And I feel like if this was all black, it would be too much black. Now, coming around the back side, Cadillac does it right. They listen to me, they hide the wiper. Love the way they did the style of the roof spoiler, nice long roof spoiler with your LED third brake light built in there. And then you do have your unique badging, Escalade IQ. The Cadillac badge in the center is also your button to open up the rear liftback. The big zonk I have is this. I guess it's cool to say 1000 E4. I'd be fine with E4. But the 1000, this is actually, if you're wondering what does that number mean, it doesn't have 1000 horsepower. Doesn't even have 1,000 pound-feet of torque. It's the torque number in Newton meters. Just bizarre. I guess bigger the number, better the car. I guess that's what they think, but I have to zonk that. I do love the taillights though. Cadillac has done some of the best lighting since the early 2000s. And then to finish it off, you do have a very clean lower bumper area. A little bit of gloss black, a little bit of dark chrome, and a little bit of black cherry. And yes, you can tow with this beast of a vehicle. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop that hood, because like I said, you're gonna see something that no other IQ vehicle from Cadillac has. Let's go check it out. All right guys, time to get underneath the hood. I have the key fob. You're gonna give it 2 taps really quick, and that's gonna lift the hood right up, nice electric assist. Like I said, first Cadillac electrified vehicle to have a frunk. So what are we looking at? You're looking at, believe it or not, 12 cubic feet of space. 12. But what do we have power-wise? 2 electric motors, 750 horsepower, 785 pound-feet of torque. It uses a 205 kilowatt lithium-ion battery pack, 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds with that all-wheel drive, quarter mile in 13 seconds flat at 110 miles an hour, top speed 125 miles an hour. Now here's the crazy part. This thing weighs more than a Hummer EV. So it weighs 9,134 pounds. You have a range of 460 miles. You can use a Tesla supercharger to charge this. 100 miles in 10 minutes on a DC fast charger. And what's crazy is those tires are 35 inches. 35 inches when you think about being wrapped around that 24-inch wheel. Now, love the way they have this nice cargo area here with a nice mat. Think about how you could put all your groceries here, and I even like the way you could slide it out. That way you don't have to reach in and over and get all dirty. Like say if you have a bunch of bugs all over the front and you lean in, so you could put all your groceries underneath here, and then it slides right back in on that track and locks into place. On the passenger side, you do have a power source. So it'll be interesting to see if other vehicles from Cadillac that are electrified will eventually have this kind of, usable space. Now, to close this, we're just gonna go tap, tap, and that's gonna bring her on down. Look at that. I love it when everything works the way you want it to. Voila. And if you were paying attention to those performance numbers, pretty darn quick for this type of vehicle, especially compared to a standard ICE version of the Escalade. But why don't we go ahead, let's turn this on and see it zoom. All right, guys, come on in. As you can see with the new Escalade IQ, you have the ability to electrically open and close the doors. So take that, Rolls-Royce. That's what Cadillac is saying right now. Of course, you're probably saying to yourself, well, Joe, this seems to be one heck of a luxury SUV. It's got the Escalade name. Of course, it's got to have an Escalade price, right? Of course it has an Escalade price. This particular one, the way that it's optioned, has an MSRP of $163,000. They start at $125,000, just to give you a little bit of perspective. But let's see what Cadillac brings for the money on this Escalade IQ. To the door panels, love the materials. You have that leather up top with the tan contrast stitching. You're gonna have a little bit of aluminum style trim, and then you have some, it's almost like a granite wood finish with a little sparkle to it. I don't know if Lori could show off the diagonal little kind of lines that are there. That's all laser etched, and that all lights up at night with the ambient lighting. You have heated seats, ventilated seats, and massage seats for the passenger and the driver, with the 2 memory seat settings and all the power seat controls up top. There is a bit of gloss black around the window switchgear, so I am gonna zonk that. Love the aluminum style door handle there that you lift up to open up the door. And then we have that massive aluminum speaker grille cover for the AKG premium sound system, and then a door pocket where you could put not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 foot-long sub sandwiches from Subway. Get yourself a meatball, get yourself a cold cut combo, and a cold cut trio. and you could also do a chicken teriyaki. Now Lori's gonna actually slide on in, because with our new 55 inches of screen, to activate the passenger side, which just says Escalade IQ right now, you have to have a passenger. So thankfully Lori is volunteering to be that passenger. Once it realizes there's weight sitting there, then it brings up the options, and it's all touchscreen for the driver, for the passenger. The driver, I cannot see this. Right now the screen looks totally black to me, and it's a full touchscreen there with your Hulu, your YouTube, you can watch Raiti's rides, the whole shabam. So this is 55 inches of uninterrupted screen. Now, I like the way they bookended on the end with the AKG premium sound system speakers. There's speakers everywhere in this thing. And then watch this. You want to see a magic trick right here? We have blind spot cameras. So love the way we now have the use of blind spot cameras on this beast, and then it comes right back to the screen when you're not using them. Different modes. Love the graphics. This is all 8K resolution. 8K. And you could also do my mode, where you could make your own adjustments. You have your one pedal regen braking, VMAX, all easily accessible. Even when it comes to charging, you can set up your charging schedule, the whole shabam. You come back to your home screen, you got your Amazon Alexa. You have, of course, all the familiar, the Google Maps you could bring up here. Look how intuitive it is. Look how quick reacting it is. Auto park assist. And GM has the best cameras. They just do. I mean, cameras out the wazoo. They didn't even have these many cameras when I was working at Circuit City that we sold to people. And they definitely didn't have resolution that looked like that. So very, very nice on that setup. Working our way down. If you're wondering, well, how do you control everything, Joe? You have this large 9-inch display here, full touchscreen with haptic kickback, which is nice. So you could open and close the doors. If you want to go into controls, all of your other controls, from lighting, you can make your adjustments, to parking, your auto park assist. And then when it comes to things like seats, you can make your seat controls, the heated seats, the ventilated seats, the heated steering wheel, all on the screen, or you could use the door. You could even position the seats, especially the rear seats. You can move. Like if somebody's complaining that they're getting squished, you can make those adjustments. And there's memory settings for those rear seats, which is awesome. And the rear seats, well, front seats have the massage, rear seats do not. But on top of that, what else do we have? Here's our AC controls. You could adjust the 3 rows. Everything is through this screen very, very nicely. So love the way that they have that. That's where you can set up your different driving and all that. Now you do have wireless charging here. I like the way that they give you a little Twinkie nook behind here to hide a couple Twinkies from the kids. But you have dual wireless charging with cooling fans, 2 cup holders, of course. Down below, you got a place for your Louis Vuitton purse, your Gucci wallet, your Gucci hat, or you could put just a bag of cash down there, a bag of 50s. Love the leather, the stitching. Open it up, felt lining with a 12 volt, 2 USB-Cs, and you could put 2 large Fabergé eggs. So if you're going to Sotheby's and you wind up winning the Fabergé eggs, you spend, you know, $1 or $2 million on them, you could put those in there, no problem. Seats. You got the AKG speakers in the headrest. Look at the way they did the herringbone design to all the perforations, the stitching. Like I said, full electric assist with massage for both. And then up top, you have that glass roof, panoramic glass roof. It does not open. And the zonk is that there's no power shade. I have a shade that I could put in place, but for 163 grand, I should be able to push a button and close that shade. You do have Alcantara though everywhere, and you do get to finish it off with a digital rear view mirror. But why don't you go ahead and get over here to the business side. But guess what? I'm gonna close the door for you so that you could come on over. Love the way it's very, very straightforward to do all of these changes so easily with this vehicle, and it just makes it so simple when it comes to closing the door. Are you ready? See you soon. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. Now, you are going to hear a ding-a-ling, ding-dong sound because the door is open, the vehicle is on, and this is an EV. They want to make sure you're not going to get out with it like in Drive or something like that. Down below, you do have your nice sill plate with the Escalade IQ name. Really slick. Seats are superb. And a lot of that has to do with not only the fine leather, the cushion for the pushing of your body, but also because the seat controls are on the door. So it gives you more cushion, and that's where you have those easily accessible door controls. Now the steering wheel, you have that leather, you have the Super Cruise, that lets you know that this is Super Cruise equipped. Obviously Super Cruise is standard. V stands for victory, and it stands for going very fast. So you hit that, that's gonna give you the utmost in performance. You do have a paddle for that regen braking, right on the back side of the wheel. And this is an electric tilting and telescoping wheel. And then you got the remainder of your 55 inches of screen, super clear resolution. You could change what is displayed here. Like, watch this, I could show you. Want to see gauges? We have gauges. How about the new night vision? Ooh, that sounds fun. Starting night vision, just give it a couple seconds. But this is technology that's all new on this Escalade. Look at that. It's almost like the Blair Witch Project. I'm waiting for Predator to jump out or something with Arnold Schwarzenegger chasing behind. But that's the technology that you get in this Escalade. And what's nice is that it's easily changeable no matter what you want to display. And then on top of that, you do also get a head-up display. So they got you covered every which way, including at night. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in that mid-row and see how your passengers can be pampered in this Escalade. All right, guys, mid-row time, and this one is equipped with the new executive package, which is really gonna pamper your mid-row passengers. First of all, you have these large, almost 12-inch, full touchscreen displays. You could watch your YouTube, your Hulu. Like the way it's got a nice solid pivot for the shorter people that you're driving around. You do have pockets. You could maybe put a book or two, maybe 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and the Time Machine. Those are two of my favorites. Love all the nice stitching. You got more of that wood, sort of granite style with a little bit of gold flake in it. Two cup holders, your AC vents, two USB-Cs. You have your 8-inch touchscreen to make all your controls for your power seats, because this has power seats, ventilated seats, heated seats, all those goodies. Two wireless chargers, which is nice. And then down below, because this is a floating center console, you're also gonna have a place down here to put at least 4 cans of Pringles, and there's a home power source and 2 HDMI inputs down there, so you could plug in more entertainment and spoil your passengers. But here's really where you're gonna spoil them. Watch this. How many times do you have a passenger in the back of your Escalade and they spill something? Now they have their own little travel table. So you could go full recline, have your drink, your pretzels, your whatever stuff you want to give your passengers, and they have their own. Just like I said, Cadillac's taking luxury to an all new level. Plus you get that extension of the panoramic glass roof. And like I said, speakers, AKG speakers. This thing has 40 of them in this vehicle. But let's get into the third row and see if those passengers are going to be pampered as well in this Escalade IQ. All right, guys, third row time. And what's interesting is that normally in an Escalade, if it's an internal combustion engine Escalade, the third row is a pleasure. This is a little tight, I'll be honest. My knees are a little high, and the ceiling isn't too bad, but I feel like I'm sitting in a cave back here because I don't get any panoramic glass roof. I do get 3 AC vents, thank God. And I do have nice leather on the armrests, a USB-C, and a cup holder. Anything else back here? No. And the leather is nice on this third row. It's just not as nice as everybody else. Let's just be honest. The third row passenger in this that's where you're going to put your least favorite child. And don't lie, don't say you love them all equally. I don't believe it. But why don't we go ahead what I do believe is that there is some cargo space in this Escalade IQ. Let's get back there and see if we can find it. All right guys, cargo area time. Now, obviously if you have your key fob in your pocket, when you approach the vehicle, it will automatically open the lift gate for you. I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way. We're gonna hit the Cadillac badge, and that's gonna give you a nice electric lift. Now, I left the third row up so that we could see how much room there is with it in the full engaged position. But basically you're looking at, when it comes to the overall space of this vehicle, believe it or not, with that third row up, you're getting 24 cubic feet of space. Fold the third row down, you get 69 cubic feet of space. Fold the, well, you can't really fold the mid row, but if you could, it would be 119 cubic feet of space. And don't forget, this does have rear wheel steer. Now, it doesn't rear wheel steer as much as the Hummer EV, which is 10 degrees. The rear wheels pivot 7.5 degrees or so. But when it comes to space, you do have some storage for a couple boxes of Twinkies. And then you do have your switch gear on the driver's side to fold down the rear. And it's all nice electric, real quick. We put one side down. You can see that third row, how we have the USB-C that I was pointing out back there, and a nice size cup holder. And then everybody's getting AC vents, everybody's getting Alcantara, and that's that 60-40 split. You hit the other button, that's gonna slide down that other portion. But I'm gonna help my OCD here and make this come back up, and then all you have to do is just lift up the headrest. Just like that. Close her up. If you're ready, I'm ready. We got a full charge. Why don't we go Super Cruise and see how this Escalade IQ goes on throttle. All right guys, we're inside this 2025 Escalade IQ. I have it in sport mode, and because of that, I want to have the map right in front of us, and we're gonna see how this thing performs. Now, to do our acceleration, nobody behind us yet, they're coming. We're gonna go VMAX on throttle, here we go. So really crazy for a vehicle that weighs as much as this Escalade IQ does, to be able to get up to speed very, very quickly and smoothly. With that air ride suspension and the Magna Ride 4th generation of dampers, this Escalade IQ just drives so nicely, rides like a Cadillac, drives like a Cadillac. You can see with those blind spot cameras, makes child's play of changing lanes. And then, of course, when it comes to Super Cruise, being able to have that full flexibility with the technology, really making, and this is where you can adjust that speed very, very easily. Green means good, and your Super Cruise is totally activated. It is the easiest using autonomous hands-free driving ever so far available in the automotive industry. But when it comes to this Escalade IQ, it's nice to have Super Cruise, because that's going to allow you to make all your other adjustments on that 9-inch touchscreen, AC controls, your seats, whatever you need, very easy to do. You have your different levels of regen braking, which you could turn on your one pedal driving, which is on high right now, or I could easily shut it off. And then, like I said, just a really comfortable. You want to change lanes? Look how easy it is. Changes lanes for you when it sees that it's clear. And then we're done. It will let you know when you're in a construction zone. It will let you know just about anything with this vehicle. And what's great is that GM keeps adding more and more miles to the Super Cruise system. Even back roads, 2-lane back roads are in the system now. And to regain, you just deactivate it, you're good to go. The sound deadening material, the acoustic glass, just gives a nice, serene feel in here. And you're going to be very, very surprised with how it handles compared to an internal combustion engine Escalade, because the center of gravity is so much lower. Even though it's heavier, the center of gravity is so much lower, and with the rear wheel steer, it handles very, very, very well. You do have that paddle on the back of the wheel. If you want to brake using that paddle instead of the actual brake pedal, you could do so. And this is stuff that only General Motors has on their vehicles. And it just makes sense. Love the way you can make your adjustments with the massage seats. I could do a little bit of relief. I need some relief right about now. You're gonna have all the safety features, and of course you have that digital rear view mirror that gives you a nice view out back. But with the amount of horsepower and torque that this vehicle has, it's a breeze to drive, and it feels fantastic. The massage, they really worked on that to where it feels not so much like just these little things poking you in your back. It actually feels a lot more natural. But it's incredible how easy it is to drive this vehicle, especially for being a full-size 3-row SUV. Really, really comfortable. That head-up display has all the important information that you need. We're gonna go ahead and hit the Raiti's Rides test track for a little performance driving, see how this thing does performance-wise, especially when it comes to handling. On throttle, here we go, on the brakes. Nice, controllable, look at this. Nice. Those massive 24-inch wheels. On throttle. Look at that. I like the way it just has a little hum of a sound. It's not some big, massive, technological, symphony in here. It feels natural, it feels smooth, it feels very, very comfortable. And the fact that you could adjust the regen braking if you don't want it on, that's fine too. And visibility, I mean, you're sitting up nice and high. You have great visibility out the windshield. Great visibility out back. On throttle. Hit the V, and we're off to the races. But even though I'm not a big EV kind of person, I do appreciate what Cadillac has brought with this Escalade IQ. I mean, look at this. No body roll. On throttle. All-wheel drive, getting the power to the ground. And then we can even go into Tour. Tour is going to soften everything up. The suspension, the steering, the throttle sensitivity, all those goodies. But it's just so easy to drive, especially with the blind spot camera. I mean, I'm shocked it took this long for Cadillac to come up with that. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of the Escalade IQ. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways with this Escalade IQ. Got to thank the whole Cadillac team for getting us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Has Cadillac found the decoder ring to really get people to want to aspire when it comes to obtaining an electrified vehicle with this Escalade IQ? Range of 460 miles, over 700 horsepower, charging 10 minutes, 100 miles on a DC fast charger. Let me know if that makes sense to you and if this is the SUV that you must own for 2025. But until we meet again, if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. None of this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for LGR, Latte Lori working that camera like the champ that she is. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.